Students, today let's discuss about the topic post-fertilization events in flowering plants. So in yesterday's class, we got some idea about how fertilization takes place. Now these are the changes that takes place after the process of fertilization. So these post-fertilization changes are development of endosperm tissue, development of embryo, development of ovule into seed, and development of ovary into fruit. In today's class, we are going to discuss about the first development of post-fertilization, that is the development of endosperm tissue. So at first, let's see what is endosperm. Endosperm is the nutritive tissue which is meant for nourishing the embryo of seeded plants. Seeded plants like gymnosperms and angiosperms, they have a nutritive tissue that is formed within the ovule, and that nutritive tissue which gives food to the developing embryo is only called as endosperm. So in the last class, we discussed during double fertilization that how this primary endosperm nucleus is formed. The primary endosperm nucleus, which is a triploid cell, is formed by the union of the male gamete and the secondary nucleus. And here this primary endosperm nucleus is the primary cell which forms the endosperm tissue inside the ovule. So this is the result of triple fusion during double fertilization, and this cell, it is triploid in nature. The primary endosperm nucleus divides repeatedly without cell wall formation and produce large number of free nuclei. So in the diagram, as you can see that there are several nuclei which is lying towards the periphery of the ovule. So these nuclei, that is the primary endosperm nuclei, which is triploid, it divides repeatedly and it forms numerous free nuclei inside the ovule. And this nuclei, it gets arranged near the periphery of the ovule because of the presence of the central vacuole. Central vacuole, as it gradually enlarges in size from the center, the free nuclei, they gets arranged towards the ovule wall. In some cases, such as in case of rice and wheat, it is seen that later the free nuclei, they gets arranged near the central region also, because the central vacuole, it gradually decreases in size and the free nuclei, they come towards the central part and develops wall, and as a whole it becomes a multicellular structure. As you can see, the white part in the rice grain, that is the endosperm here. And in case of coconut, here the endosperm, the multicellular endosperm, that is towards the periphery, and it becomes the endosperm meat, whereas those free nuclei, they gets arranged towards the inner part of the ovule and it accumulates fluid and later it becomes the liquid endosperm. So in case of coconut, it has a multicellular endosperm towards the periphery and free nuclear liquid endosperm towards the inner side. So the coconut water that we drink, that is the free nuclear liquid endosperm, and the solid part, that is the multicellular structure where that free nucleus, they got developed into cell and later it became the multicellular structure. This type of endosperm development is called as nuclear endosperm, and such nuclear endosperm development, it is seen in case of rice, wheat, coconut, maize, castor seed, etc. So there are some other developments also. These are cellular endosperm and halobial endosperm. Cellular endosperm, it is seen in case of plants like petunia, where the primary endosperm nucleus is directly divided by cell division and have cytokinesis. And in case of halobial endosperm, so it is an intermediate type where both nuclear and cellular type of development takes place. So this is all about the development of endosperm in case of flowering plants. During post-fertilization event, the development of the endosperm takes place first, and only after the development of endosperm that the development of embryo takes place. So the embryo, it is formed from the zygote of the embryo sac, which is formed after the union of the male gamete and the female gamete, which results into a diploid cell which is called as zygote. This zygote, it divides repeatedly and produce some differentiated cells, and this whole mass of tissue that is formed, it is only called as embryo, which is specialized to form the parts of a plant body. The study of embryo is called as embryogeny or embryology. So let's see how the development of embryo takes place in case of flowering plants from a single cell, which is called as zygote. The development of embryo starts with the diploid zygote. So the zygote, it divides by parallel division, that is the periclinal division, and it forms two cells. Upper one is called as the terminal cell and the lower one is called as the basal cell. The terminal and the basal cell, it again undergoes another cell division, in which the terminal cell, it divides by perpendicular cell division, that is anticlinal cell division, and basal cell again divides by periclinal cell division. Terminal cell, after the first cell division, it forms the pro-embryo or embryo cells, and the basal cell with its parallel or periclinal division forms two suspensor cell. This suspensor cell, it elongates in size with repeated periclinal cell division and it forms the suspensor, whereas the pro-embryo, it divides by periclinal division to form the four-celled embryo. In that way, the pro-embryo, it again divides by both periclinal and anticlinal division to form at first an 8-cell structure, then 16-cell structure. But the suspensor cells, they do not undergo any more cell division, and the last cell of the suspensor, it becomes swollen in size and it forms the haustoria of the embryo later. So now let's concentrate to the pro-embryo, which is 16-cell structure now, and it is globular in shape. So in the diagram you can see the globular stage, which is a 16-celled pro-embryo. Now this 16-cell pro-embryo, it undergoes repeated cell division both anticlinally and periclinally, and it develops a heart-shaped structure. In that heart-shaped structure, the last cell of the suspensor at the end adjacent to the embryo, proembryo, is known as hypophysis. So hypophysis, this is the end cell of the suspensor and it is attached to the proembryo. The hypophysis later gives rise to the radicle and root cap of the whole embryo. The embryo cell undergoes two vertical divisions and it forms two tiers of cell. One is epibasal cell and the other one is hypobasal cell, which is found in that heart stage of the proembryo. Generally, the epibasal cell, it is towards the terminal side, that is towards the upper side, and the hypobasal cell, it is towards the hypophysis. In that way, the heart-shaped structure, it elongates more and there the cell, it gets more differentiated, which forms later the meristem such as protoderm, procambium and ground meristem, which later goes on to form the internal structure of the plant body. Now, as the heart-shaped structure, it elongates, so there in a typical dicotyledonous embryo, we can see the embryonal axis and two cotyledons. The embryonal axis, it terminates with a dome-shaped structure right at the middle of the two cotyledon, which takes place in case of dicotyledonous plants. And that dome-shaped structure, it is called as the plumule, and this plumule region, it later develops the stem or the shoot system. The elongated part, these are the two cotyledons, and the radicle, it is towards the suspensor in the hypophysis or hypobasal region. In that way, you can see the structure of the embryo, how it is formed in case of a dicot plant. But in case of monocot plant, it is a little bit different, where it doesn't attain the heart-shaped structure and therefore it develops only one cotyledon, and the plumule, it is pushed towards the periphery, where again it forms a dome-shaped structure, and radicle, it is present near the hypophysis only. So there are some differences in between the dicot embryo and the monocot embryo. So in case of monocot embryo, the cotyledon, it is called a scutellum, which grows rapidly and pushes the terminal plumule to one side. So here it is called, the cotyledon, it is called as the scutellum. And the middle region, that is the plumule and the radicle region, it gets covered by some sheaths which are developed from the scutellum, and it acts as the covering of the radicle and the plumule, and this is called as coleorrhiza, which surrounds the radicle, and coleoptile, that surrounds the plumule. So in the diagram you can have an idea that how the embryo, it is arranged in case of a monocot seed. So this is what we have learned today, the difference between the monocot seed and the dicot seed, and the development of how the embryos are developed.